So welcome everyone. It's Wednesday Wellness and I'm Michelle Greenwell and I'm sharing with you today a little bit more about Tai Chi. I thought today what I might do is celebrate the launch of some new products that will be part of the Choose Love programming, but also has Choose Love included in it that is being distributed through other networks as well. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to share some of that today with you and play, because I put Tai Chi into all of the pieces that we're doing. So what I have in front of me is a deck called It's in the Cards. And this has the Choose Love formula in it with the sign language patterning that we can do. And it's explained in the 5-element theory. Hi, Pam. So what I thought we could do is go to the deck of cards section, which is all about animals and action. And that's where I put in all of the Tai Chi moves. And these are moves that we've been practicing over the last couple of weeks, but I'm actually going to do them today in a 5-element flow. So I'm going to introduce the idea from Chinese medicine about how the 5 elements work and the kind of flow and energy that you can create. And we've done that with the sign language of the Choose Love formula. And I shared that last night on Kay Reeves' podcast that she does. So that's been posted up. And so you can check out that if you're interested in that. But for what we're going to do today, I'm just going to open up my cards. And so I have this beautiful little monkey. And you'll probably remember Ward Off the Monkey. So that's going to be that one. That's the fire element and the color is red. And in our nurturing cycle, we would go to the earth element next, which is the owl. The owl is spreading our wings. And we actually, I think we just got up to that last week when we were working on the set. So we'll put that in. Then we're going to add the metal element, which is a snake. And the snake is creeping low, and that's actually where you can do transformation. So that's kind of fun always to play with the metaphor of that. And then we're going to go to this beautiful little opossum. And this one is the brush me action, which we spent a couple of weeks on. So we'll go through that in the hands. And then the last one from the wood element is this beautiful little cricket. And he represents 3 pushes. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with that. I introduced them to you in the nurturing wheel, fire, earth, metal, water, wood. And we're going to put that in there. If we think about the color at the same time that we're doing the action, adds a little bit more power to it. And if we add sound, we can make even more power, which is really cool. So we'll do it without sound first, because I know that's hard for some people. And then thank goodness we're online and we can all mute. So we can make our own sounds in our house and nobody hears you. Because a lot of times that's hard for people. They don't want to express themselves. But as soon as you start making the sounds and you start feeling a little bit more confident with it, you'll start to really feel the power that comes out of it. So the sounds that I've used with this 5-element set come from the 6 healing sounds. There's only 5 elements, but that's 2 sounds that happen on the fire element. And in the deck of cards, we went with 1 sound, but we can always finish off with the second one. Okay, so let's get started. I have made some changes in my studio, so I'm hoping I got the angles all right for everybody to watch. But if you see me struggle a little bit, I'm trying to get used to this new format and what it looks like for everyone. Okay, so I'm going to back up, and I'm hoping that's going to work okay. And Nicole, if you're okay to put spotlight on, then that'll help people to see me a little bit better. And what I'm going to do then is start off with the actions from, that one was Ward Off the Monkey. Here we go, fire element. Okay, Ward Off the Monkey. So let's play with our hands first. So what I'm going to do, I'll just turn around and see if you can remember. We put one hand back to the back corner, and the other hand is pushing to the front. So let's come a little bit on an angle. And then the elbows drop, and one hand is going to push through, and the other hand is going to turn and come down to lower dantian or below the belly button. So it comes through. So our action is out, drop, and then come through on that. Okay, so I'm just going to check here. I'm not sure if Nicole's there. If you want to put it on a spotlight, I'm just going to pull it up here so I can see. Larger for me only because then I can tell if my feet and everything are in the right spot. Okay, perfect. Okay, so where you can kind of see my feet. You can see more of the ceiling than you can of my feet. So let me just adjust that a little bit. Okay. So the hand is out here. We're going to go down. That lets you sink down into your feet, into your knees. That comes in, and then this comes through. So then we're going to take the other hand out towards the corner at the back. Then the hand comes in and sink. So we have open, in, and sink. Open, in, and sink. Okay. Now you may notice that I'm kind of going up and down with my legs, and that's what the action does. So we're never moving isolated from ourselves as far as, when your hands move, nothing else is moving. When your hands move, your whole insides are moving, your knees are moving, your ankles are moving, your feet are connecting to the floor, and there's this synergy that comes from the movement. And we haven't even done anything as far as moving feet. So we're here, there's a sink that happens right here that drops and opens the back. And then as the hand turns, this can come out straight forward. And then we have open to the corner. And that's got a little bit of a rise that you can kind of feel in the legs. And then as the hands go to turn, that changes the pelvis. And then it's just like a sink that comes straight through and out. So we have open and sink. If you were like on a boat, you can kind of feel the rise and fall of the waves. That's kind of what it feels like coming through. As we change the palms, that changes the direction that the pelvis is facing and how it's manipulating. And so we have this opportunity to just kind of gently massage through the center of the body. Okay, so that's our ward-off monkey hands. And then we can add the feet. So what I'm going to do is just step up into the corner here because I'm going to be traveling backwards. So you've got open, step, I've got my right hand out, so I'm going to step back with my left. This is going to come in, this is going to sink back, and now I can actually get a little bit of length in the spine. Open, step back, sink. Open, step back, sink. Open, sink. Open, sink. Open, sink. Open, sink. All right. So the action that we're doing is ward off the monkey, and its metaphorical connotation is letting go of your monkey thoughts, all that busyness that's going on. And for me to sit and do meditation is very difficult, but if I can move, then I'm really good to let things go. So as I was doing that, I could just feel everything just kind of sink and settle, which is really delightful. So what I'm going to do now is invite you in your kitchen to bring in the sound. Because we're on the fire element, we're going to connect in with the sound of he. And he works beautifully through that whole extension. Okay, and then the color red. So as you notice from my room, there's color everywhere. And that is, I can tune into the color and I can pick up the energy of a color whenever I need it. So when I turn this way, I've got red in my top corner, but I've also got red right in front of me here. And I've got red in the bottom picture there. So if you're looking at me and watching the screen, you have a couple places that you can tune into that red color, as well as my shirt. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to add the sound. So I'm going to step back and nice breath. He. Breathe in. He. Open. Step back. He. Open. 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 Let's just do one more. Open. Right. That gives you word off monkey. All right. Let's move to the earth element. The sound for that is hoo, just like an owl, and the color is yellow. So as you can tell by my room is always yellow. Sun is always shining at my house. We have white stork spreads his wings, and I just put in spread the wings is the title that I put into it. When they refer to the white stork, could be the owl, could also be the phoenix. What that means is your magnificence, opening up your magnificence and just realizing the full potential of all that you have. So when you do that action and you open up and expand all the way through the core, you have this shift that happens where, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting, okay? So I'm going to do this action for you from step up to raise hands, which we did last week, and then into the arms. And I'm going to do the arms. I'm just going to turn and do the arms first, a little bit on an angle so you can get the right and the left hand, but just so you can see what my hands are. So I turn to the front there, they'll disappear. So I'm going to put out my right heel, and we take the hands out to the side. The right hand is a little higher than the left, and it's like an accordion, and the bellows just push down. You may remember that from last week. And as you do that, the muscles in the back, which are kind of like open and tense this way, they just kind of sink and drop. And all of a sudden the spine can lengthen as you do that hand. It's just an action. So the tailbone starts to travel back and it's a sink. That's called step up to raise hands. You put down your foot and drop your right hand. It comes down to lower WTN, palm facing in. And then you just turn your foot so it lines up the same as the other foot. And you're going to expand across into the other foot. So all your weight is in your right foot. And now your right hand goes down to the bottom. Then it comes up as the left hand goes down to the bottom. And you'll notice I'm making this spiral action, and the hand is going to come around. The body swings back. And then I'm going to step with my left foot, brush me. Let's do that last piece. All right, there's a lot going on there. So let's break it down a little bit. So we were here, I'm just going to do the hands. So it's going to go drop, expand. And you'll notice expansion isn't just my arms. My tailbone actually drops and I go back. And then the hand goes to the bottom, moves up to the top. Let that spiral at the top, comes all the way around, open, and then brush knee, comes through and sink. You can see again how, even though I'm not moving my legs, I'm constantly up and down and moving with the direction of my hands. Okay, so if we have a sink, and a hand, slide, turn, let that go. That's going to spiral all the way around. There's a rise, and then a fall. Brushing. Okay, so I'm just going to turn, face a little bit different direction, and you can see what this left hand is doing. So we have sink, hand, goes across, drop and lift. So there's the spreading of the wings, the magnificence, all possibilities, and a nice spiral action. It's going to open, comes in, and then sink. And that's going to drop. Okay. I know last week I did a lot seated first before standing, so you got a chance to feel what it moved like by doing it in a chair. And a chair is fantastic for learning more about the body, but also to really isolate movements. When we go standing and don't actually use the feet, I think you're getting the feel for how much there is this buoyancy that we can have. And a lot of times when we're standing doing things like the kitchen counter, we can almost be locked up while we're trying to do things with our arms. But if you start to bring in your Tai Chi philosophy of movement, then if you sink down into your feet, when you go to reach for things, you start to move within the whole body, and you start to feel how there's this expansion, contraction of all the movements. And even if you're starting with pause, just keep it really nice and gentle, and you'll have this whole movement pattern going. You'll notice at the end of doing some kind of chore like that, you'll actually have energy when you finish, but you'll also feel not like you had a workout, but like everything coordinated. And so I can't really quite describe that, but it's a wonderful place to be. Okay, so let's add feet now that we've done it with no feet, we've just been standing. So I'm going to do it still this direction. Hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing. And then feet, and I'll change directions just in case there's something you're looking for. Okay, so let's move up, so hopefully you've got my feet okay. So I am standing into this corner. I'm going to turn my left foot 45, so that when I'm always standing on something, on the foot, I'm always at a 45-degree angle. And then when I put my heel out, that's square to the front. My front is into a corner today. So my right heel goes out not very far from my left foot. If you put it too far out, you're going to have to transfer your weight, and we're not doing that. We're just sinking onto the left and gently putting that heel out. So we have a sink, foot, and turn the foot, but don't transfer yet. Then shift it over to the other foot. Plant. Now your right hand goes to the bottom. You travel up, spread the wings. That's going to turn at the top, all the way around. Place the left foot, so you're on your right foot, place the left, and you have brush knee. Okay, I'm just going to turn just a little bit so that will help you see more things. Okay, so we have step up to raise hands, that's dropping spine, foot, and turn the foot, and then glide across. Plant the foot, right stork spreads wings, up to the top. That's going to turn, spiral, step through, brush knee. The cool thing about repeating this little pattern is we just keep expanding. What is our potential? Then it's like, oh, we have all this potential. And then let's do it again. We have all this potential. It just keeps expanding. I'm going to turn. I'm going to add sounds this time. So the color is yellow, just to bring your thoughts back to that. And the sound is whoo. So I'm just going to plant my foot. Whoo. 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 We can feel that. I'm just going to turn just a little bit. I'll see. Whoo. 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 Okay. And just for good measure, let's do one more. I'm just going to turn again. Whoo. 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 Wonderful thing when you add the sound, you notice if you're short of breath. You notice if you can't make clear sound. You notice if you kind of go make the sound and then run out of air. And then when it feels right, it's just like you could just keep breathing That's how you know you just really brought it into flow. It's a wonderful way to gauge how things are going for you. Okay, so let's move from earth element. We're going to move over to the metal element. I'm just stepping forward because I just want to double check. We are metal element, which is the color is silver, white, or gray. And I don't have that a lot of that behind me. We don't have any white walls in our house. But I do have this magnificent painting that is silver, white, and gray. It's a metal element painting. So I'm going to put that in front here. So you have it in your vision as you're doing things. And it's just there. And the sound is S, like a snake. And the action that we're going to do is creep low like a snake. And this one is fantastic for letting the hips relax and opening everything up. If you have a knee challenge, you want to keep everything high, you don't want to go very low, which is what I'm going to do today. And you can do it from a seated position. You're copying the arms, and you just do all the arm positions. Don't worry about any dipping. Okay, so what we're going to do is cone one hand. And I know we did that all the way to one side last week. So I'm just going to do this with my fingers, make a cone. And my other hand is going to come straight forward. And I should say that my back foot, my right foot is turned 45. My left foot will be square to my front. Okay? And then what we do with the snake is we sink back into the right foot and we just let all the joints relax. So you'll notice my elbow just completely let go as soon as I sunk into my knee. So from here, it just goes relax. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to open our foot at the same time. Open. And we're just going to turn it so it's square to the side. That's it. Okay? I'm seeing that you can't see my foot. That won't help you very much. So we sink back, open. Okay? You know you can't see my foot all that well. Let me grab a mat. You don't need that. I'm just going to put it out so that you can see my foot. The actions of the snake have a lot to do with how you position your feet. So if I go from here, using my foot, good. Okay, so I go open. So it turns. And now my heel at the back is going to slide. It's just going to twist and it's going to open. So now both feet are facing to the side. And then you get to sink down on your right leg. And that's where if you have a knee challenge, you want to make sure your knee is behind your toes and that you're sitting back. And go sink, open. Okay, so you turn your left foot to guide you where you want to go. And then your hand comes through and pulls you up. Okay, so I'm going to turn and just see if that helps you with a different angle. So if I make this my front, my foot is there, my back foot is 45. So I'm going to sink, relax the hip, relax the shoulder, open, open. And then I'm going to sink down on my right leg, scoop my hands through, my toe comes up, and I'm going to pull up. And my hand on the end is so beautiful, goes here, and then it pops open. So it's like the lotus flower. If you think of the flowers being closed, and you open it, which is you're opening all the energy right there. Okay? So we closed it up, we scoop it through, and we pop it open. Okay, so I'll do that again. So if I'm facing, this is my front, I go relax hip and shoulder, open the foot, open the heel, sink, turn and scoop, open the lotus flower. All right, so that is creeping low like the snake, and that is shedding the skin. So letting go of all the stuff that you don't need to hold on to, old baggage, old things, old thoughts, patterns, whatever. You just say, I don't need it anymore, and then you creep low like the snake, and when you come up on the other side, you have the opportunity to be completely new. Okay, so let's do it a couple of times, and I'm going to add at the top, there's a couple of things you could do at the finish. The hand comes up, You could take your knee with you and stand on one foot. That would be one thing. And the other is you can bring it through, catch the wrists underneath, so there's two fists that come up, and then you can extend the tailbone back. And that's reach up to the 7 stars. Reaching to the 7 stars is knowing the path you want to be on and following it. Okay, lots of metaphors today. So here we are. So we have open, open, rock down, open the flower, and you can stand on one foot. That'll be our way for today. You're sinking right into that foot, just feel the connection to the floor. As one hand goes up, other hand is pushing down. That's equal and opposite. The other piece is, as soon as they're doing equal and opposite, so can your spine, and you just solid down into your foot. Knee is bent, it's not locked, nice and soft, and you can just find the power in the movement. Okay, let's do it again. So if we think of the color white, silver, gray, the sound is S, so we can go open, open, and I lost my balance. That tells me I do not have flow. So I don't know if anybody else experienced that. Okay, so here we go. We go open, open, it's through. And you can probably notice on me, sound was consistent and I easily found my balance that time. So great to go back to it again and find out what you need. Okay, so let's try it again. So we flow like the snake. Open, open, rock, and through. Okay, now let's try it with that reach up to 7 stars. We can do a little bit of line on our back. So we have open, open, this comes through, hands go together, rock the tailbone, and it steps back. It's kind of like a retreat, and then you come back forward. So you look for your path, you think about how you want to get there, and then you take your action towards it. Okay, let's do that again. You want to add the sound in. I'll attempt. Put it all together. Open, open, sink. That gives you the end. Okay, that's a little bit of a snake. You notice I've only done it on one side. In Tai Chi, when we're doing the set, eventually through all the movements, we balance out. So we don't always do a whole bunch of times on the right and a whole bunch of times on the left. There are other actions that we would use on the left. And you get those already in brush knees, word of monkey. So we'll find an even way. Okay, I'm going to leave the snake. I'm going to move over to the possum. So this little guy, when the babies make their initial sounds, they do a choo, 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 as a kind of sound that comes out of them. So the sound for the water element is chew, and the color is blue. So as you notice, there's a lot of blue in here. You've got lots you can look at. And for the opossum, we are doing brush knees. Just a very double check. So brush knees we've done before. So I'm going to just face sideways and do the hands first. So we have one palm out, other palm up. So I've got my right hand back, my left hand forward. We're going to drop. That's the sink. And then this is going to come through and extend out. So you've got open, comes in, and sink. Open, in, sink. Open, in, sink. So you've got that same up and down, kind of bobbing in the water, floating along kind of movement. Sink. Open, sink, open. Okay, and we've done that lots of times, so I don't want to spend too much time on that because you can easily go back in the videos. And if we're going to do the brush me movement, we're going to be traveling forward. Ward off monkey, we go backwards, which is letting go of monkey thoughts. And then when you go forward, you have a clear mind, clear focus, clear direction. Okay, so I'm going to do the feet this time. I'm going to just put it into the corner. Hopefully you can see that okay. So we're going to go open the right foot 45. See? Place the left foot. This is going to come through. Brush knee comes in and down. Twist step. Open the hands. Step through. In. Sink. Twist step. Step through. In. Sink. Twist step. Step through. Sink. Twist step. And sink. Okay. So let's add on to that the sound. So you're thinking about the color blue. We're saying chew as we go through. So we have open the hands, step, chew, the step, chew, step, chew, step, chew, twist, chew. Okay. So I'm just going to turn around and come from this direction. I'll start with my left foot and my left hand opening, because we've done so much with the right. Step with the right foot, comes through. Chew. The step. Chew. Step. Chew. The step. Chew. The step. Chew. The step. Chew. I'm giggling because my stomach, when the flow happens through my body and I get everything connected, the hips relax, then my stomach starts to really gurgle. And so there's the happiness gurgles as everything inside is kind of moving around, finding its place. So anyway, so if I was laughing, that's why. So that gives you your brush knees and the water element. So let's take it to the wood element, and that was the cricket. And the cricket is making the sound of shh. So I don't know about where you live, but here in the spring, it is always a welcome sign to hear the crickets, and will be the sound that they make. We're just going to give a nice long solid sound. And the thing about the cricket that I enjoyed when I was researching this piece was the wings have two different sections on them. So one section is really bumpy, and the other section kind of prickly, I guess is the best way to say it. When the temperature gets just right, the cricket is able to pass those wings back and forth across each other, and that's what makes the sound. And I thought it was fascinating because if it gets to be too hot, then we no longer hear the crickets. And in the fall, the crickets come back again. When it gets to be that right temperature, then they start buzzing and creating that frequency, which is just fantastic. So now that you know the value of that, you can think about when you're hearing these sounds out in nature, what are those sounds providing back to you in frequency and a lift of spirit. So, okay, so the wood element, cricket, I've forgotten the action. Oh, it's our 3 pushes. So this is the beginning of the Tai Chi set. We spent some time working on it the last couple of weeks. And this one, we are pushing into our right foot and then we sink back onto our left. So remember when I said, don't always do on the right, if we do the snake on the right, we don't always repeat on the left, but we're going to make up for it right here because our left leg is going to be spending some time. So I'm going to turn myself so you can see me a little bit this way. I'm going to put my left foot 45 from my straight wall, and I'm going to take my right foot forward to the straight wall. Okay? And we have worked on the palm. Sorry, because you won't be able to see me. There's the palm. I'm going to put my fingertips into the wrist. So I've got my fingers here. And then we turn the hands so that the palms can go towards each other, and then we pull apart. And when we put our fingertips into the wrist, this is a sedation point, so this is a calming point. This allows you to just let go of all that stuff that's on your mind. Just take it out, okay? You could put your fingertips into the center, and you could do the same action there. Okay, and that one has a calming for the mind, is a little bit different than this one for the whole system. And then we also have where we put our hand underneath and we don't touch it at all, and our hands just actually pass. And that one, our hands are out in the field, and that's the energy that surrounds our body. And sometimes that's kind of the feel that you're looking for, so that one you can use too. I'm going to go into the wrist because most people, they just need to calm. So my foot is straight to, or 45, and straight into my front. Okay, so I'm going to go fingertip into the wrist, turn the hands, and pull apart, and sink onto the left foot. Then we turn the palms, they go towards each other, and we go palm to palm. Open the hands, sink. Two hands go out, push. Sink back, and what we've done is a whip to one side. I'm just going to put that in because we've already done that. So the hands come around, goes past your hip, past your other hip, past lower dantian. Make your cone, step, and pull out. And we completely change direction. The three pushes, we don't have to do that, but just because we already have explored that movement, we can. If somebody was playing with the cards, he would just do just the three pushes. Okay, so we have sink, pull back, palm to palm, open the hands, two hands go out, sink back, turn, whip, goes around to your right, and then reach. Okay, that is our three pushes with the whip to one side. If you think about the cricket, the color is green. So we're looking for green, which I have green up at the front here, and I have green up on the walls. I've got some plants. There's green in this, so I'll just prop this up so it's in here. All right. So with this one, I'm going to turn my direction, and I'm going to do my three pushes facing this way and then turn, and I'm hoping that allows you to watch me and be able to do the actions. So my foot is 45, I'm straight to my direction I'm going. Okay, so we go. The sound is shh. You go shh. Go back. Shh. Go back. Shh. Back. Shh. 7. And you see we've changed direction. So we did all those pushes on one side, changed direction, and a whole new view. Okay, so let's try that again. So if you're thinking in terms of you want to do some changes, you want to change an opinion or an action, you start one way, open your eyes to all the possibility coming around, and finish facing a different direction, new perspective. So we have shh, open, shh, open, Despacio Etienne. Shh. Place the foot. Shh. That brings the finish on the end. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, everything's okay, Pam? Great, good. Sorry, I can see your face, but that's all I could see. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's do one more time. So we have shh. Open. Shh. Open. 2 hands. Shh. Once back, all the way around. Shh. And comes out. Okay. So that takes us all the way around the wheel, brings us back to the fire element. So, did you want to say something, Pam?
No, I like that way that you pivot. I like when you go into each move and do move the other way to the foot. I like that. Okay,
just a different direction so you could see.
I like it. I like how you do that. It feels good. It feels good. That movement. I just like that last pattern you did. I like that movement.
Okay, yeah, that's the 3 pushes. I don't know. There's something about that, and then symbolically, I think we talked about it last week. When you come past Laura Dentienne, that's the golden pill. Golden pill is where you're building your energy. And if you think about pulling the thread out, so the hand that's doing that scoop is pulling the thread. So you can have one of your gifts, and then you take that one gift and you go forward with it, which is a really cool way to think about things too. And for somebody who's stuck, you think, oh, what am I going to do with this? I don't know how to get out of this idea. I don't know how I want to change things. And then you come around, and it's like your gifts that you have inside will help you find that one way that you can share everything. We'll finish off on the end. So I'll just plant that seed. But thanks for sharing. Okay, I would really love to finish off with just a little bit of savor before we go today. So if you have a wooden spoon in the kitchen that you want to grab a stick, that would be fine too. I'm just going to grab a chair. I'm just going to do it seated, just because this one, when we change directions all the time, there's lots going on. All right, and set this back here. All right, this one I'm just going to turn a little bit to the side. This one has an action. I don't think we worked on this one so much. This one, you're taking your wooden spoon over top of your head. It's in your right hand. And then it comes over to your left shoulder. And then it comes back down to your hip on that right side. Okay? So that's the action of the right hand. You have up, cross to the hip, and then, sorry, to the shoulder, down to the hip. Here we go, doing my body parts. Okay, the other hand, we're going to bring out. So what happens is, it's a separation, expand. This is pulling forward. And then, there's this contraction that happens here, where it comes in, and then it has a spiral off the end. And the wonderful thing about this move is, the fascia, which is tissue that runs around the muscles, it runs connecting things together, works from the spine and comes out to all the organ systems. It's relaying information for us. And it has 3 ways it likes to move. And we cover those 3 ways with this saber, which is so cool. So here you have an expansion and an open. Then you have a contraction. Everything comes in, and then you have a spiral, which comes off the end. Okay, I'm just going to change my chair a little bit, just so you can see the spiral maybe. So, over, cross, spiral. Okay, Now let's add our feet. So your feet, your ankles are right underneath your knees. So when we go to open and pull this back, you just bring awareness into the left foot. Not a lot of weight, just awareness. So left. And that's going to give you a little bit of a spine turn. Then you go into your right foot. Brings you across. And then you go into your left foot, and it finishes the spiral. And with that engagement, you have right from your big toe all the way up to the top of your head engaged in this action. You go again, open, that's the left, right, left. That's through. Okay, and as I said, you don't always repeat to the other side. So that action we always do with our right hand, we always open that way. The spiral action going across is giving information across the organs. So they're talking to each other, which is great. Okay, so now let's do the pattern that we did before. So that's where you drop the saber down in the front. So you're taking your wooden spoon, just turn your hand over. So if you've got the ladle down at the bottom, that's where you'll be. And your left hand is just going to go underneath here. So just passing underneath your arm. And then we're going to take the saber up. It goes all the way around, and then it comes up the center. So you've got the pointed end of your spoon here. Then you have all the way around to the left, and then you drop the spoon down again so the ladle will be at the bottom. So you have over to the right, and up, over to the left, and up, over to the right, and up, over to the left, and up. Okay, so now I'm going to add feet. So left foot has awareness, right foot brings you back to straight, right foot's going to take you over, left foot's going to bring you back. Left foot takes you over, right foot brings you back, left foot takes you over, and brings you back. All right. The pattern that we're making with that is a figure 8. So as you see that come through, that is a power move. So that is creating flow, but flow for adding energy. If we did it the other direction, it would actually be a sedating. It would create flow, but it would create sedation. So we don't want that. So it's coming around the other way. Okay, and the last one, just to get a feel for this whole piece, is this right hand is going to drop down, left hand is going to push through, and this is going to go all the way around. That's across, all the way around, and then chops. Okay, so if we do that again, drop it down. Hand is away, all the way around. Chops and slides across, all the way around, and straight. You'll notice with that move, we added a little bit back and forth on the chair and then around. So now if you think about your tailbone, your sit bone, and you think about how you're shifting your weight, you're actually massaging the whole lower back. And anybody who has a tight lower back, this may be very helpful. Okay, so we've got it down. So we go around. So you'll notice that feeling come into the left, then into the right, falls forward into the feet, which is power. Comes all the way around again, and then this goes straight forward. Okay, and last one for good measure, all the way around, bring it all the way through, all the way around, and forward. Okay, that gives us just a little taste of that. You probably feel this is open, probably feel that right shoulder got a little bit more than the left side. But if you start walking around today, just kind of feeling where did you end up, you may notice that it starts to balance just from that, all that action coming out of the right side. All right, there we are. Any other thoughts, Pam, that you want to share?
I like that one. That was really good. I felt it, like you said, I felt it more in my area here, the upper arm.
Okay. Yep. And it's just wherever it, I want to say tension is, but just that tighter bit, that's where you'll notice it. And
Should we do both? Should we do both then switch to the left or?
Nope.
Oh, just do
always
one.
just to that one side.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you were doing this set, you'd have ways that would balance out, but the balance on that one comes from this hand.
Oh, okay.
This hand is actually in action the whole time and creating the flow. So you are getting it. So it's just a little bit different thought than do on the right than do on the left. Yeah.
Michelle, how long do the effects last when you do that? When you feel, like you said, you get balanced, and how long does that? I mean, do you do this in another 6 hours or 5 hours, or do you do it when you need it, like for 10 minutes?
I would do it when you notice the energies. Well, by the time you notice the energy going down, you went too long. Which is if somebody goes out to the garden, right? They always try to finish the project oblivious to how the body feels, right? So they always try to push past that. And then they go, I'll just recover later. But if you actually start to just have awareness of when you feel like you hit that point where you know you've done enough, haven't lost the energy yet, but it's like, if I stopped here right now, I would be happy. And then instead of that little thought in the back going, but you didn't finish the project. If you let that piece go, stop, and that's when you put the energy building in. So then do some kind of activity, and it might only be like 2 minutes of something. And then the body just goes, oh, and it's continuing its flow. And it's when you go past, and then you go, oh, I'm so tired, I just need to rest or whatever. Then you went too far, and then you have to put the flow back in. But the body's got a block, and then it's like restarting the car, you know?
Yeah.
So if you just let it just continuously flow, then everything works so much better. So if you notice, if you can kind of figure out that, you know, I always hit that wall kind of about 11 a.m. Then you go, okay, so at about 10:45, I'm actually going to stop. I'm going to go do an energy building piece, and then I'll come back. And then you'll give yourself that opportunity to keep it going.
In the morning, when I'm getting up or so, I'm like doing this. I'm doing
the
wonderful.
Hand,
you know, I'll lay in bed or I'll just put my hands up and do it. And I feel like you feel like it's like, maybe it's my mind. I don't know. I feel like I'm being energized. I feel like I'm getting my blood flowing. You know, you're laying there all, you know, kind of lazy and saying, should I get up? And I've been getting up a little earlier every day now for some reason. And I'm just, you know, I feel more, you know, get things going, moving, and kind of sets the tone for my day.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Which I needed because I do work during the day, and then like I do some gardening, and sometimes I'll try to fit that in a little bit in the day if I could take a little breaks here and there. And then last night it was like almost a little getting dark, and I'm raking because we had our lawn mowed and there was like some little grass things on top, and I'm very particular with that. So I'm raking it, and then, like you said, I'm like, oh, do I want to do more or the rest of the yard? And I'm like, well, no, I'm to that point. Like you said, I'm good for now, and I feel like I got some energy going, and so this is helpful.
Yeah, and you said something important there in that you got the energy going. So instead of thinking about getting the project done, which would be, yes, it'd be awesome if the whole yard was finished.
Yeah.
But if you go with, my purpose is to produce the energy. The byproduct is the yard looks good, maybe half of it, you didn't finish it, but tomorrow you get to energy build again. And so then that's when you can finish. But if you start to think about the activities in terms of energy building, because we were trained in fitness, right? Is to work, get that workout. But then you have that thought of recovery on the end, which is the term they would use, so that your body could get rid of the lactic acid. But if you start thinking about, my activities are my energy building activities, and I don't go past that point, then all of a sudden, you're right. You get up, you jump out of bed in the morning, like things change. And then it's like the whole day just flows along in this wonderful peace. And when you get to the end, it's like, look what I accomplished today, which is different than I didn't get enough done. There's still 25 things on the list. I did 50, but there's still 25 things on the list, you know, so it really
Yeah.
changes the way that you start to think about things and
Yeah, I don't go to a
how the
gym,
body
and
then-
it's like I think of my, you know, that stuff. Like if I'm sweeping or doing something, I'm like, that's my activity. That's going to help me, you know, like you said, get the job done. Something that I want to do, and I enjoy that. I enjoy gardening and working, putting around the yard and everything. But I feel like it's also the activity part where I don't need to go to a gym. You know, the other day I was doing some raking or so, and I said to Alexis, grab a rake. You don't have to go to the gym today. This is your workout, you know, and you're getting your arms, you're in the fresh air, and you're just, and it's just like the whole mental, physical thing. And I think, look, like you said, turning almost like how Scarlett said, turn your thoughts around. Don't be, it's not negative saying, oh, I drudgery, I got to do this. It's more like, hey, I'm getting a benefit myself out of this. And look what I'm getting too, that it looks nice, but I'm feeding myself. So I think that's, I like it's that whole mind body thing that this all is involved in.
Yep. And then if you start to think about it, just that story of the cricket, the sounds that are in the garden while you're there. It could be the wind going through the leaves. It could be birds. It could be things going on. It could be kids playing in the next yard. But you start to tune into those sounds, and those are the sounds of joy. And when you're listening to those sounds of joy, what are they doing to the body at the same time? And then you have the colors. If you start to connect in with the colors, now knowing that, you know, if you're looking at the colors and thinking they belong to a wheel, and that wheel allows everything to flow. And then you start looking at the leaves. The leaves are all built in a very specific pattern because that's the frequency that functions with that leaf. Yeah. And you start, wow, look at the power that's in this plant, and look at the power that's in that plant. Now you're out there raking, and you're like, wow, I'm surrounded by a symphony, and you know, all these wonderful things. Yeah.
It's funny. I was thinking of that yesterday, because then I was going to go out. I'm like, should I do it today? It's getting a little later. But then I was thinking in my mind too, I'm like, okay, it's already August. How many more, you know, months or so? I said, soon I'll be in, like, you know, time changes, and, you know, it's dark at 4 o'clock our time here, and I won't be going out as much, or the snow comes and I'm not, you know, I'm not like, I don't want to be out there and shovel. I'd rather rake and be in the sunshine. So I was taking advantage of it, saying I try to do that every day. Sometimes I go out and work outside in the, you know, I might be working, but at least I can take 2 minutes and listen, like you said, to the birds, or see a bird, or just feel the fresh air to, you know, to kind of infuse me with, like, I don't mind working. I don't feel like it's work. I mean, I could be sitting here working on a project, and it's like, it's one thing when you're in an office, and then when you're outside, just surrounded by nature, you feel energized to get the work done.
Yep. Yeah, and the mind just kind of wanders, and then when you come back in to look at what it was you were working on, you've solved 5 things that you didn't even know were needing to be solved, or they were in a block. And then it's all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, that's the way it works. And then whoop, you come back and you go, yeah, much more efficient. Yeah. Yeah.
It feels good. This feels good too. You know, getting this break. It's like the other day, yesterday, I said, like, oh, I thought I was going to miss it because I had a meeting. And then I'm like, oh, today isn't Wednesday, it's Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday yesterday. And I was like, oh, I was ready to go. And I said, well, I'll do it myself. So, you know, but I did find, you know, like I said, you like to garden. I do that a lot. I try to get out there every day and do something, and there's some type of activity out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
or walk the dog. I mean, I can walk the dog. I walk the dog too. So that's good too. And take time. And he's very keen. So all of a sudden he'll hear the minutest sound, and he's looking, and then I'm kind of following his tune too, and going like, what is it that you hear? And I mean, I talk to him, you know, and I'm like, what is that sound? And it's just really, it makes you be more sensitive to sounds and sights and different things.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I guess that's the writer in me. That's the writer and the person in me. I always think of that when I'm writing. You know, I'm very visual. I'm very, you know, to get the point across.
I was just kind of chuckling because I was just thinking when we put the card deck together, it was Paula that did did nature. So nature movements. So she has the 5 elements, and she has rooted and flexible tree, which is going to be a more like a yoga move. And then the emotion on that is cherish. And then it goes to the earth element, which is believe. And that one is expanded heart for the movement. There's a bumblebee in the middle of the flower. And then she's got heart connection, and it's happy hearts is the action she's doing there. And then peace is rest and relax.
Hmm.
There's your water element. And then this one is from the Rocky Mountains. So this is out in Alberta, BC. Abundance, and a strong mountain is the movement she's going to do. So those actions, like you said, you're out, when you start tuning into what you're doing and how you do it, then you start building all these pieces in. And that's what we hope with these pieces and talking about the 5 elements and the colors and just really connecting and realizing how many ways we can be engaged in our self-care.
Yeah. And it becomes part, I think it becomes part of your lifestyle. It becomes I don't want to say habit, but it becomes part of your kind of like routine, your daily, your daily routine. It's not like, 'cause I don't know, some people like going to the gym and stuff. It's not like, I got to go to the gym. I got to work out. I'm lifting weights or I'm, it's like, no, I can get my own exercise this way. My exercise my mind, exercise my body by doing different things. And I do. And also one other thing is I go for a lot of walks. Where our office is, we have a huge complex and I go for a lot of walks, or sometimes at the end of the day, I'll tell Alexis, it's like 6 o'clock. I said, I'm going for my walk, and I go for like an hour or so. And it's just time of reflection, time to either clear my mind or think about things, or just, like you said, put yourself in the moment, and you don't have to worry about work or anything like that. So I think that helps. It's like, it's kind of part of your life, part of your routine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's what
awesome.
more people need. More people need this,
I know that. Well, they do, right? And just be present. Yeah. We just have to open up a little bit more and be aware.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining in. And Michelle, thank you so much.